It's Wednesday, March 13. In the headlines, personal income tax to be increased. Finance Minister says work is being done to correct anomalies in the public sector compensation system. In business news, a report from the budget debate, plus updates on the stock market. Regionally, St. Kitts and Nevis needs more time to assess impact of free movement. And in sports, John Wall removed as head coach of the Under-20 Reggae Boys. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The personal income tax will be increased to $1.7 million from $1.5 million. Finance and Public Service Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement while opening the annual budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. The Finance Minister also announced a reverse tax credit for all Jamaicans who earn under $3 million, which is to be implemented this year. 570,000 Jamaicans stand to benefit from this measure. Those are persons who contribute statutory deductions and some through personal income tax. The implementation of the new public sector compensation structure is still posing some challenges to some government agencies. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says work is being done to address anomalies. He addressed the matter while making the opening contribution to the budget debate. Dr. Clark says some cases have to do with inherent issues in the classification structure of the public sector.
Madam Speaker, I'm painfully aware that some of the challenges that have been unearthed because of the new implementation of the compensation system are real. And in some cases, these have to do with inherent issues of classification in the public sector. For example, there are genuine anomalies that were created that affected some classification groups, and we have a panel of classification experts currently reviewing those anomalies. And their work will be completed by the end of this month, and corrective actions to be implemented before the end of the first quarter in the fiscal year.
He also addressed the issue of payment, where a civil servant is appointed to act in a position with less pay than what is stipulated for that position.
Another pain point, Madam Speaker, is that the appointment of officers acting in a higher post, unintended consequence, where on appointment that officer receives less pay because they're appointed on the first point of a salary band. The Office of the Services Commission, who is responsible for appointments, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, are currently working to address the matter. And I expect that by the end of April, this too will be corrected for the affected persons.
Implementation of the new public sector compensation system, which commenced in December 2022, aims to reduce and simplify salary scales and allowances. It is also a part of the government's push for a public sector transformation program. The requirement of guarantors for student loans has been abolished, and a new policy will come into effect on April 1, the start of the new financial year. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark announced the new policy as he opened the budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. Nanita Rodney tells us more.
Speaking at the opening of the 2024-25 budget debate in the lower house on Tuesday, Minister Clark said the requirement of guarantors for student loan is a regressive policy that discriminates against low-income families.
Madam Speaker, the requirement of a guarantor for student loans is regressive as it discriminates against low-income families who cannot as easily, if at all, find guarantors for student loan. The policy, though, has been in place for several decades. And we are happy to abolish the requirement for guarantors for student loans. Madam Speaker, from copious amounts of data, even with high delinquency rates, very rarely are payments actually made by guarantors. In all but a few instances, guarantors have served the purpose of locating students.
Dr. Clark says the implementation of the new policy is for the benefit of the people.
With this new guarantor policy, we'll move this $1 billion excess from the life insurance reserve, which you don't need in that position, into a new guarantor reserve fund to back this new policy. Everybody can say remove guarantor. When we do it, Madam Speaker, we do it in a sustainable way. We're not doing it for no popularity contest. We're doing it to benefit the people, but we're doing it in a way that the taxpayer is also protected.
This new policy follows the removal of guarantor requirements for applicants of PATH households last year and for wards of the state the year before, a move Dr. Clark says was a demonstration to the public.
Now, we signaled, Madam Speaker, that this was under consideration with our changes in the guarantor requirements. But it was important to demonstrate to skeptical people in the public, it's public's money, what the effect would be. So we did it with Ward of the States, we got a 100% increase. Did it with PATH guarantors, got a 185% increase. Now, Madam Speaker, the evidence is crystal clear that this is the right policy.
The finance minister also anticipates that by the time the first batch of students benefit from the policy, the NID system will be a reality.
We anticipate that by the time the first batch of students graduate who have benefited from this policy, the National Identification System, or NIDS, will be a reality. We will not need guarantors to find people anymore.
Minister Clark also announced that 4,200 grants of $60,000 each will be made available to low-income applicants of the Student Loan Bureau. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Denise Rodney.
The Education Ministry's budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year is estimated to be $162.3 billion, of which $160.3 billion is recurrent. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams made the disclosure while speaking at a meeting of the Standing Finance Committee on Thursday, March 7. Denise Rodney has the details.
During her presentation to the Standing Finance Committee, Education Minister Favour Williams opened her statement with the breakdown of the ministry's new fiscal budget. According to Minister Williams, early childhood accounts for 20.3% of the budget.
For early childhood education, this accounts for roughly 20.3% of the budget, or $32.9 billion. And this covers expenditure for children ages 0 to 8 years old, which is the official designation for early childhood. So this will be infant to grade 3 in primary schools.
For primary schools, an estimated 36% is expected to be spent.
In the primary school, we're talking about upper primary grades 4 to 6. We have allocated $27.1 billion, or 16.7% of the budget, while secondary education accounts for $58.1 billion, or almost 36% of the upcoming fiscal year's budget.
At the tertiary level, 17% has been budgeted.
Tertiary is at 17%. $27.2 billion. It should also be noted that special education accounts for almost $3 billion of the ministry's budget and includes allocation for assessment, for utilities, rental, boarding, grants, school supervision, and compensation.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Denise Rodney.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says there is no timeline for the establishment of the proposed presidential council in Haiti. Speaking at today's post-cabinet press brief, she explained that discussions are still underway regarding the way forward amid the political crisis in Haiti.
Can't give a timeline. I can say that, to the best of my knowledge, they are working on the names and they are close. But we've been close to solutions before, and because the natures are so complex. But they're working on them, and as you realize, because it is necessary for a transition, my understanding is that there is strong motivation to reach agreement.
She also noted that the resignation of President Ariel Henry will take effect when the presidential council is established.
And the naming of a new interim prime minister. The intention has always been to not create a power vacuum or to create new problems. The aim has been to try to facilitate a path back to elections. So the Council will hold and exercise the powers of the Haitian presidency during this transition period until an elected government is established.
She told the media that 66 representatives participated in CARICOM's special meeting on Monday in Jamaica, where government leaders from around the world lent their voices physically and virtually in seeking resolutions to the myriad of issues being experienced by Haitians.
So the aim has always been to have a Haitian-owned and a Haitian-led solution, and this is in fact what was announced on Monday. Essentially, CARICOM has always remained very firmly committed to ensuring that the Haitian people remain at the center of this process of consensus building, and that this welcomed solution, therefore, is such an arrangement.
Over the last week, gangs have tightened their grip as Haiti spirals to collapse. With the country's leader unable to return and violent criminals in control, Haiti is fast descending into anarchy. The United States has airlifted non-essential embassy staff from Haiti. The move followed by Germany and other European countries. Senator Johnson Smith was asked about the status of Jamaican nationals in Haiti.
If we do have nationals there, what are the plans?
I am only aware of one, and the lady has dual citizenship. No, she doesn't have dual citizenship. She has a US visa and was simply seeking to find a flight out. I'm not sure if she has found it yet, because although there have been some reports that said that the airport is closed, it is not in fact closed. It's just that commercial airlines have taken decisions not to fly, so private flights have been moving in and out of Haiti. So I would have to check to see if she has yet been able to leave, but I understand she was seeking assistance just with making arrangements for a flight.
The People's National Party's Andrew Swaby has been sworn in as the new mayor of Kingston. He took the oath on Tuesday at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, along with 39 other elected councillors of the KSAMC. The Jamaica Labour Party's Delroy Williams, councillor for the Seabright Gardens division, is the deputy. Each party won 20 seats of the KSAMC in the recently held local government elections. However, having won the popular vote in Kingston and St. Andrew, the PNP won the right to appoint the mayor. The new mayor of Morant Bay and chairman of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, Louis Chin, has been sworn in as well. His deputy is Councillor Michael McLeod of the Dalvey division.
I am excited about the work to be done, and I am grateful for the trust you place in me. Let us work together to build a better St. Thomas with prosperity for all.
The mayor and his deputy were among 10 councillors elect of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation following the February 26 local government election. The Jamaica Labour Party has 6 of the 10 councillors. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. Everything Fresh Limited for the 12 months ended December 31, 2023, reported a 20% increase in revenue, totaling 3.1 billion Jamaican dollars compared to the 2.64 billion in the corresponding period last year. As such, net profit for the 12 months amounted to 100.43 million, a 109% increase from the 48.16 million reported in 2022. Main Event Entertainment Group Limited for the first quarter ended January 31, 2024, reported a 9% decrease in revenues, totaling 567.75 million compared to the 626.99 million in the corresponding 3 months last year. Main Event noted this was mainly due to a one-off event for one of our major clients, which is not likely to reoccur in subsequent periods. As such, net profit for the 3 months amounted to $100.25 million, a 15% decrease from the $117.95 million Jamaican dollars reported in 2022. During trading on March 12, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the finance sector on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Mayberry Jamaican Equities Limited shares advanced by 15.32% for a $1.42 price jump to close at $10.69 with 1,000 shares traded. Jamaica Stock Exchange Limited shares advanced 14.83% for a $1.33 price increase to close at $10.30 with 1,500 shares traded. JMMB Group Limited 7.15% shares advanced 10.62% for a 29-cent price increase to close at $3.02 with 1 share traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on March 12, 2024, the top 3 losers covered the energy, finance, and transportation sectors. MPC Caribbean Clean Energy Limited Jamaican dollar stock declined by 26.93% for a $29.48 downward price drop to close at $80 with 1,330 shares traded. Mayberry Group Limited declined by 10.5% for an 84-cent price drop to close at $7.16 with 1,590 shares traded. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited US dollar shares declined by 10.13% to close at 2 US cents with 2,543,144 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange on March 12, registered a volume of 490,792 shares crossing the floor of the exchange valued at Trinidad and Tobago $6,187,213. JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader with 183,924 shares changing hands for a value of TT $277,726.04, followed by Massey Holdings Limited with a volume of 78,297 shares being traded for TT $341,376.65. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 12, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $33.4 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $20.1 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $155.56 and bought the US dollar for $154.33. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.23, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $6.81 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $116.44 and bought for $109.63. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $1.48, selling it for $197.88 and buying it for $196.40. For the credit report tip of the day, are you feeling a bit hesitant about talking to your bankers about your credit report? Well, don't overwhelm yourself by trying to tackle everything at once. Break the process down into smaller, manageable steps. For example, start by researching different banks or financial institutions in your area. Then move on to scheduling an appointment. And finally, discussing your credit report and funding options with a banker. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda is working to attract fresh business and investment opportunities from the United Kingdom. A trade and investment mission continues, and a reception was part of the engagement at Government House on Monday. Myrtle Bruno Hodge reports.
Trade Minister Honorable E.P. Chedgreen is hopeful that the ongoing United Kingdom, Antigua and Barbuda trade and investment mission will strengthen relations between both countries. He was speaking during a cocktail reception at Government House on Monday evening, hosted by the Ministry of Trade and the Antigua and Barbuda Bankers Association.
We are expecting, anticipating, hoping, certainly looking forward to mutual agreements, beneficial agreements, a further deepening and strengthening of relations between our two countries, using the EPA that we have already signed as the catalyst or the basis for expanding the relations in trade. It is fair to conclude that we have already abiding relations with Great Britain.
Minister Green used the occasion to applaud the efforts of Antigua and Barbuda's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Her Excellency Karen Mayhill.
And I must give much credit to our High Commissioner Karen Mayhill for the work you do in fostering the relations between Antigua, Barbuda and Great Britain. The High Commissioner did an exceptional job in promoting Antigua Barbuda. This is the first time we're bringing businesses from the UK or business people from the UK to Antigua Barbuda. For 3 years on a row, we had the reverse, where business from Antigua went to the UK.
British High Commissioner to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Scott Fussadon Wood, shares his perspective on the trade mission.
Perhaps this week will mean that we come together from the UK, from Antigua and Barbuda. We bring together our ideas, we bring together our problems, but we also bring together our solutions. And together we can do some things here this week which contribute to our common prosperity and our common happiness.
Governor General's Deputy, His Excellency Sir Claire Roberts, also addressed the Monday night's gathering.
Let this reception serve as a platform for dialogue and collaboration between our nations, bridging the gap between cultures and economies.
The forum runs until March 14 under the theme One Resilient Common Future. It focuses on trade and investment and includes networking opportunities with local and international businesses. Monday's event coincided with the observance of Commonwealth Day. Myrtle Bruno Hodge, ABS News.
St. Kitts and Nevis CARICOM Ambassador Larry Vaughan says they will not enter into an arrangement on free movement of persons from the Caribbean that would have an adverse effect on the country.
While addressing the implementation of the free movement of persons across the Caribbean announced by CARICOM with a deadline of March 31st, 2024, Mr. Vaughan said this is not conclusive and that further consultations will take place before a definitive decision is made.
The position of St. Kitts and Nevis has gone further to say that we want data-driven analysis. We want CARICOM to be able to tell us, hey, are there any minimum standards that each country must have in entering this arrangement? So, for example, if it is that human resource capacity, certain number of degreed persons or skilled, trained persons, that each country must have that first level of, and I will call a figure off the top of my head, that each country must have at least 60% of its population certified in skills. So that at the end of the day, the persons who are moving are majority skills trained persons, and not that the people are just moving willy-nilly and that there is no economic benefit of it. We are also looking at environmental data. We can determine what is the carrying capacity of each of these territories. So we know that if St. Kitts and Nevis, because we are here, has a carrying capacity of another 50,000 people, how can we then now strategize as to how we will carry our economy forward and our society forward on this environmental data? Because we don't want that more people come than we can accommodate.
He further explained that member states will be given more time to prepare for free movement starting March 31st, and that countries can choose which component of free movement of persons they are willing to accommodate during that period.
A country who believes that it is ready can enter at 31st March 2024. But others who desire more time to get themselves in check do have 3 years through which to do it. And each member state and CARICOM would have 7 years from 31st of March to put the systems in place. So, for example, I would foresee that if we think that one of the things we need to put in place would be to upgrade our school system, our plans. We need maybe bigger schools because we expect another 2,000 students to come in. What do we do? How do we take the next 7 years to get ourselves up and ready so that by the time we are in the system, we are not made worse off as a result of it.
Barbados ambassador to Venezuela, Commander Aquinas Clark, says Caracas, given its location, is positioned to contribute to CARICOM's 25 by 2025 initiative aimed at reducing the region's food import bill. Since the announcement by Venezuela of its intentions to provide 5,000 hectares of agricultural land to Barbados, a team from the island visited the country to see firsthand the different farming areas. Ambassador Clark says trade and other exchanges have been further boosted with the improvements made in transport and the direct flights to Caracas.
That's important for many reasons, not only the movement of people, but also the movement of goods and the movement of services. It makes it easier for Venezuelan businessmen who have businesses registered in Barbados to be able to come back to Barbados and to engage with their lawyers, engage with whoever they need to engage with. And that helps Barbados in the area of trade. It helps us in the area of exchanges. It helps us in the area of tourism and many different areas. And I think my friends from BTMI can vouch for this. Once we started the inaugural flight last October, I remember Corey telling me that the arrivals increased by 174%. And so that meant that we put a large amount of money within the tourism industry, within the economy. We have the Venezuelan Institute that is working. We have the Barbados Community College. We have the University of the West Indies. The plan of the government was that Barbados will become a bilingual country by 2030. I think we have started on that road. In a few months, you'll see initiatives for teachers. I had a meeting with the Ministry of Education. I met when the Prime Minister met with the Vice President of Venezuela. We spoke about bringing the languages into the nurseries because it's important that we start children speaking the language at a very young age. I'll give you a personal experience. My son is 9 and he's fully bilingual. And the great thing about that is that he does not speak Spanish at home. In fact, when he comes home, he switches off Spanish, but when he goes to school, he switches it back on. And that's phenomenal for a 9-year-old to be able to do that.
In sports, we kick off with football. Head coach of the under-20 Reggae Boys team, John Wall, has been removed from his position after 18 months on the job. That's a word from the Jamaica Football Federation, the JFF. He's being replaced by Jerome Waite, who currently coaches Tivoli Gardens in the Jamaica Premier League. In a press release on Tuesday, the JFF stated it had decided to recall Coach Wall from duties with the under-20 team so he can better concentrate on assisting senior coach Hymir Haugemson in preparing for the numerous competitions ahead. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.